Hey guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4 who has officially entered our 7th year of homeschooling. Today, I just want to talk with you a little bit about homeschool and just education as a whole. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find us right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. So, just a few things to start this video. My kids are playing on the Switch right there in that room, so you absolutely will hear them screaming in just a moment, despite the fact I'm like, you can play, just don't scream. It is absolutely, I don't know when it's coming, but when you hear it, they're playing like Lego Jurassic World or something. Another bit of housekeeping, if you are new here or this is your first video, I look super cute, and I looked super cute the last time I filmed, and I don't want you thinking that that's the norm. So scale back those expectations for me, because this girl is not always here, okay? Sometimes it looks like a totally different person, still me. Turns out, makeup, hair, lighting, it's a good thing. So don't get your hopes up too high. If you were wondering why I look super cute, I have a hot date with a married man, but he has kids, so we'll see. We'll see if it works out for another year. But today, I wanted to come here and I just wanted to talk with you guys. Told you. I wanted to come here and I want to talk with you a little bit about homeschool and a little bit about education. Is it a rant? I mean, I don't want to say no, because for me, a rant is like, I'm like ramped up and I'm like full of rage about it. And I am a little bit, but I'm not like, this isn't a hostile rage. This is like, I'm very passionate about it, but I'm also not like, I'm not angry, I guess, if that makes sense. So let's start with homeschool. What do I want from my homeschool? From my homeschool, I want to give my children an education that they cannot receive anywhere else. Okay, so I want to give them an education that exceeds what they would be able to receive in any other learning environment than the one that I can provide for them. I want to make sure that they have access to everything. I do not want to limit my children, because I want them to be prepared for the world and ready to go and ready to take on absolutely anything that they want to get. I want to give them an education that surpasses what they would get anywhere else. Access to information, quality information, things like that. And I feel like there are a lot of people now who are homeschooling for kind of the opposite reason. Like, they want to make sure, and I think this has gone on for a long time, and I think this is a big difference between secular and non-secular motivations for homeschooling. I think there are a lot of people who homeschool their children because they want to keep them from accessing what the masses access. I think that they want to keep them from learning about things that they don't agree with or don't align for them. And I don't agree with that motivation, which, I mean, that's why it's not mine. More power to you if that's the path that you've chosen. But I just want to encourage you to think about what history has taught us about limiting education. And this is where we're talking about education. So now I'm transitioning here. As we have sat through our US history lessons and our world history lessons, and I've realized now, because we've made it through World War II and we've made it through segregation and separate but equal and all of those things, and I don't know that many people, especially my age, fully comprehend how recently it was perfectly legal in this country to keep people who look different than what I look like, even women, it wasn't all that long ago. I don't know if people fully realize how incredibly recently it was okay to limit the education of people who didn't look like, you know, my waspy self. I don't know that it fully clicks sometimes how time works. Like, my parents weren't born yet, but my father-in-law, when he was born, you know, had he been school age, had he been a few years older, he'd have gone to an all-white school. So that's crazy. We learned that, you know, several states shut down their public education system for like years in an effort to keep their schools segregated. That's not the point of getting on. The point that I want to make and I live in Texas, so if you guys have followed things that have happened recently in some of our southern states, tends to be southern states, there have been big, huge, giant pushes to redefine what is acceptable in public education. And I'm not even talking about, you guys know we had a lot of kerfluffle around here about a video I made a few months ago about things in schools. So we're not going to rehash that. But what I am talking about, for example, is, well, you know what? You go do your own research. AP Psychology, Florida. You go do that research, okay? I know that Texas is not very far behind. I just want to say, time and time again over the course of history, people in power have sought to maintain power by limiting access to education, by limiting access to information. And I am not necessarily likening a group of people to any other historically horrible groups of people. I am just saying people who crave the longevity of their power, the first thing they do, the very first thing they do is they start limiting access to information. And I know that a lot of people don't agree with this, but my personal philosophy and what I always tell my children is that education, information, and knowledge will solve every single problem on the face of the planet. Every single one. I'm not asking you to agree with the information. I am not asking you to want to teach your children the information. That's absolutely your right. What I'm going to ask you as we approach another, November time of next year, because Lord knows it's geared up already. What I'm going to ask you, and I'm hopeful that instead of pushing further apart, we come together as a people, because we cannot keep pushing further apart. We need someone who isn't here and isn't here, but somewhere in this area, like anywhere in here, that's what I need to know about. As we continue down this path, please, please, please don't let other people tell you what's right for your children. Don't let other people make those decisions. Don't let other people limit your children, because it's not what this is about. It's really not. Again, information and education is always the answer. I'm a pretty firm believer that there's almost never too much information. That never leads to, mass negative consequences. I don't agree with that. And I know that there's gonna be a lot of people who come here and they're like, absolutely not. Knowing about something makes it dangerous, which does it though? Does it? Again, this is another video where people are gonna come at me and they're gonna be super mad at me, and that's okay. We don't have to agree. I am just asking you as a fellow parent to truly, truly think about your motivations and to encourage you to make the decisions that are best for you and allow other people the grace to make the decisions that are best for them. I do not believe that knowing about a thing makes it more likely to happen to you. If anything, I think more education keeps you safer. More information keeps you safer. More you know, I'm making a connection in my brain, but is not the thing to share on the internet. So I'm going to keep that on the inside. But I just want to remind you that when the people in power start dictating who can and can't have information, who should and shouldn't get education, what should and shouldn't be in education, it's really red flaggy from a historical standpoint. So maybe pump the brakes and decide which side of history you'd like to be on in 30, 50 years. Okay? So make sure your motivations are pure. Make sure your motivations are truly for you. Make sure your motivations don't actually involve people who aren't your responsibility, because if they do, you maybe really need to rethink that as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get it's gonna be all kerfuffle, and I don't mean it to be. I just want you to identify your why. Don't come from a place of fear. And even if something is not applicable to you or yours, it doesn't damage anyone to learn about it. Okay? There may come a time when that information will be handy and helpful to the humans that you send into the world to be good citizens, good fellow citizens, good parents, good aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, voters. So, yeah. All right, guys, I think yeah, you know what? I didn't actually say that much today. Well, oh well. Guys, thanks for staying. Yeah. We'll all just hope for the best in the next 18 months or so. Guys, I hope that you found any of that helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, scroll down, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, go hit the thumbs down button. I'm always in the comments, and I'm always available over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic.